I'm not sure how to start this, but I remember when you were born. I was half a continent away, training and hoping to provide you a better life.
So, where do you want to start?
Let's start from the beginning. I have zero memories of my father. Couldn't describe what he looked like, anything. My mother spent the majority of my childhood at work. We moved to the trailer park when I was 3. What I remember, I was reasonably happy, and I wasn't gonna accept just being a poor kid from the trailer park my entire life. My childhood in a nutshell. If you had asked me about 10 to 15 years ago, I'd say that, them turning old Lucky Lot 13 into a dumpster would be very apropos. Now at 42 years old, I would not have wanted to grow up any other way. When you come to the realization that you're a trailer park kid, I really learned to dislike it. Never really felt like I fit. I was bullied, got in a lot of fights. But at the time, the other people in the trailer park, they were our family.
I moved in here a couple months after my 10th birthday. And then shortly thereafter, my mom left, so it was just my dad and the 3 boys. She was not in a state mentally where she could care for us on her own.
I don't know which would be worse, having the wonder what your parent was ever like, or establishing that relationship and then waking up one day and they're gone.
Right, like that saying that it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. It's kind of like that. But I mean, I think when you think about it...
I had spent several years talking about with my mother how I wanted to go and find my father. I was 12 and came home, got off the bus, walked in the door, and almost immediately,
"Honey, I need to talk to you."
I sat down and she said, my father was a veteran and committed suicide in 1987. I developed feelings of inadequacy. I was the one without the father. He could have provided that family lifestyle for me, but he didn't. I promised myself that I would never let life get the best of me, like my father had.
And then when we would hang out, when we weren't outside, we would be hanging out at Jeff's house.
We were Jeff's delinquent-ass friends that were quasi-adopted into their family, so they actually did provide some level of oversight.
Yeah.
They got a house. He was really the first of the group to make it out. There's that carryout on the corner of the Anthony Wayne Trail, which is the busiest road probably in all of Toledo. Walking back, he thought he could beat the traffic and did not.
A young man was killed last night when he was struck by a vehicle while trying to cross the Anthony Wayne Trail. Police say 15-year-old Jeffrey Easterwood was walking home from a carryout when he tried to run across the street. He was struck by a vehicle and killed instantly.
I did not take it well. Aside from my father, that was the first time in my life where I experienced loss. The realization that life wasn't infinite was kind of a wake-up call for me. I mean, yeah, I'd found out about my father committing suicide a few years before that, but I never knew my father. Right. But when Jeff passed, it was kind of like tomorrow's not guaranteed.
Part of it kind of makes you grow up faster than what you'd like to.
Definitely one of those, life instances that is defining in a transition.
Damn, almost 25 years, man. It's a long-ass time.
Right. After high school, Dave had joined the military and Jeff had passed. I didn't know what I wanted to do or what I wanted to be. Him making that decision would play into me making the decision a few years later.
We were children trying to make adult decisions. Anything you've ever heard of me is based on a young man who wasn't provided much guidance in life.
Hi, Mom and Dad, everyone. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon of the 23rd, and I just stuck some new batteries in here, so I hope this is picking up. You couldn't believe it. It's just what I wanted, Mom. Thanks a lot. It's great, Mom and Dad. I'm fine. I'm hot as heck and it's wet as heck over here, but I'm okay. Just hungry, that's all. You should be done with work now, shouldn't you, Ma? I hope so. You shouldn't have to work yet. Me and Ronnie both in the Army now. We don't need the money that bad. Have you sent the pictures yet? I'd like to see them, because then maybe I can sort of write in the back of them what they are before I forget what they are. I only got 8 more months, Mom. So I could make it through 8 months, so heck with it. I don't know, 3 minutes is probably almost up, so I hope this one comes out this time. Did you...
Our plane landed in Saigon, February of '68. We were instantly put out into the field. All this company did was pull ambushes every night. We would go right through the areas that we saw Agent Orange sprayed 3 days beforehand, and the vegetation was fucking dead. How could this stuff be dead in 3 days? Now, as a 19, 20-year-old guy, you don't think about things like that.
You didn't think that it was going to hurt you at all?
Nah. Until 50 years later, now look at me. In 1987, I get a phone call from the CDC saying they want to fly my wife and I to Albuquerque, New Mexico for a study that they're putting on about Agent Orange. X-rays, brain scans, psychologicals. You have elevated levels of dioxins in your system.
Is that one reason why when we're talking about Agent Orange investigation, we're now expanding it to say Agent Orange dioxin?
The result of that study was very simple and very clear. The heavily exposed men had 10 times the dioxin level of the controls.
Okay, how do we get them out? He looked at me and he goes, you don't. He said they can attack any nerve ending in your body. About 10 years ago, I started feeling stuff that wasn't right. And my legs just gave out. And then I started realizing, hey, this isn't right, man. Something's wrong. I know I'll never walk again. Neuropathy doesn't go away. I want to walk better.
It's almost bittersweet, really. I've never been married, never raised a child. That's the only reason I have the time to do it. You know, I've always kind of had to go it alone in a lot of these things, or at least felt like I had to.
So, why is it worth it? Is it worth all the effort?
The biggest irony behind all of it is my driver to do all of this is my child. In 2001, I had gotten my girlfriend at the time pregnant. I saw the military as an opportunity to provide for her and the child. I had the opportunity to be the father I never had. Towards the end of training, I had received a letter that the decision was made to put the child up for adoption without my consent. First court case was whether I had the right to challenge the adoption. I won. The second court case was to force the paternity test. I won. The third court case was whether or not I could actually establish parental rights, which I lost.
I got my license. Let's hear it for the class of 2019.
That situation is probably the most influential in the course of my life after that. Every day I was in the military was a constant reminder of the fact that I lost that traditional family experience that as a child I had always wanted. In 2003, I was deployed to Iraq. When you're in the moment, you're hypervigilant. The mentality is do what you have to do to come home. When you take the life of another human,
We have eyes on the target.
it's not like stepping on ants.
Go ahead.
It affected me heavy when that understanding of what I just did became a reality.
From the day that you sign that contract, you are trained, you're going to take contact from the enemy. Somebody's trying to take your life. So you're trained to take their life first. The crazy part of us, we get excited, but at the same time, you better wisen up. There's that other part that's pulling you, and it's like, man, you can die. I don't think you ever really fully unlearn what you learned. It's more like you got to set it to the side. Those first couple weeks when I got out, I was kind of lost.
Van 2-2, over. 2-3 has you loud and clear.
I went to a therapist. You got bipolar 1 depression, anxiety, irritability, PTSD, you're whimpering in your sleep. Everything just closes in on you. On the outside, I look just like everybody else. But I feel like in the inside, I'm probably the craziest dude that is sitting there in the room.
So the military will take 5 months training you how to be a soldier. When I transitioned out, I got 2 days to relearn how to be a civilian. You can literally do anything you want any minute of any day, and that's a very hard adjustment. By going to college, I found structure in that. I would go to school all day, I would have homework, I would work every minute of almost every single day. I was engaged in something that was taking my mind away from my time in Iraq. Once I graduated, all I had was my 9 to 5. Outside of that window, I had nothing but time and energy to think. I didn't care about anything. And if all you do is sit around watching TV, that can take its toll mentally. I was eating fast food every day. I was a heavy smoker. I would have energy drinks for breakfast. I was a recluse and isolated. I looked in the mirror and I hated what I saw. I was miserable.
In that moment, I was in a very dark place. But deep inside, there was one thing keeping me going.
Suicides in the military are up 20% this year. A new report shows disturbing statistics about suicide among veterans.
The study found that 4 times as many military veterans
commit suicide, and a local organization wants to keep that from happening.
I had remembered from my time in service, they tell you, if you're unhappy, go work out. That was the inspiration for me to go up to the gym that first time. If I go up there and I do this, I'm committing. It reinstills that routine that you're used to having and that structure that you're used to having in the military in nothing but positive ways. But I just knew there was an opportunity to help somebody. Over time, as you continue to do it, you build confidence in yourself. Eventually, I quit smoking. I quit drinking. Cut all of that stuff out because you start to see the results. You start to hate what you see in the mirror less. I was thinking to myself, if it has this impact on me, imagine what it can do for others. I called Dave and said, hey, I've got an idea.
Hey Jay, got your message, bro. Yeah, just want to let you know I'm in. Great idea, let's go.
He signed on and Task Force 20 was born. And we got to work, putting veterans in gyms.
I was in the Army for 6 years. It's a mixture of emotions when you go through it. You know, you're scared, you're excited, you're sad, you're angry. But when you get back into the real world, you don't have that anymore. First time that I lifted weights, it just hit. Just like the feeling that you got from it, you're not thinking about stress or things that have happened in the past or your family. I don't know, you just feel good after working out. There's a lot of times I feel like I can't talk to people about things because they don't understand. When you're with somebody that goes through the same things, you're the only ones that can help each other out, which I think that's a big help.
We take a little walk, all right? Whenever you're ready. Outstanding. Good. Outstanding. All right, slow it down a little bit. Get ready for your turn. Yep. Boom. Great work.
Every day, it's a struggle. Every day. But everybody struggles with something. But I didn't want people just staring at me because I had to use a walker. And it was anything but that. This Jamal Green, upfront guy, man, he treats me like a human being. He knows my limits. He knows what I can do. He tries to get the best out of me. He's just been great. I like the challenge. It's like everything I've done in my life. It's just a challenge. Well, it's just like, how did I become a Ranger? Because once I decided I was going to do it, I did it the best I could.
So we took it all the way from him not being able to take a step without his walker to just getting rid of the walker and saying, let's go. But he's an amazing story. Still writing pages.
Just so depressed sometimes with my physical being, but there's guys worse than me. And I just gotta keep telling myself, there's guys worse off than me, you know?
It's been crazy how everything has just kind of progressed and grown to where we are today. Like, it literally started with me having an idea, taking a $20 bill up to the bank to open up a bank account and just see what happened. Starting a nonprofit is a lot different from running a nonprofit. I don't think people understand the responsibilities that go into doing this.
The resource fairs, it's going to be kind of like the focal point of
the upcoming 5K. You would be the main sponsor. Anytime it gets mentioned, it would say, we recognize their sacrifices and that they didn't have the benefits and the resources. That's our organizational mantra. Got the logo on the back.
Sure.
$23.
All right, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
There might be nobody that buys into what we're doing, but it's worth it to me. people didn't understand what being a father meant to me. It was much more important than anything else because I never had a father. I look at what I do in the veteran world. I envision being that for a lot of them. It's an undertaking. It takes time and energy and effort. The toughest part of starting a nonprofit is earning people's trust. There's been other individuals that I've been able to call upon for their level of expertise and knowledge. You know, when I need a gym, I can always call Steve. Or when I need financial advice, or I need somebody to help out with a film, I can always call Gavin. Without the board and our volunteers, we would not be able to have any of the events that we do. It truly is a collaboration and a give and take process that everyone in the community takes a part in. It's legitimately going to have to take everybody with a passion for making a difference in the veteran community to work together. I don't care what they say. Nobody does it alone.
Days like these just simply aren't easy for anybody. This is a tremendous loss for our community. A husband, a father, our friend, and our fellow veteran, Gavin Andrew Smith. The sights, the sounds, and the smell of war will never leave you. It is something that we all that have served, something that we all try to make sense of. And his legacy lives on because each and every one of you matter. God bless.
He gave up his time, his energy, and his money to make sure that all of us could succeed in the mission. This isn't just 22 veterans per day. This is a reality for many. Some of the people that we've helped, what they've gone on to accomplish, that's the most rewarding thing about all of this. Every single aspect of Task Force 20, if we lose focus, that means somebody could die. The best thing I ever did for myself was start to believe in myself. I'm just a poor kid from the trailer park that many treated as just a blip on the radar. But now I've got this family and this community. And I can tell you, I don't feel like a blip on the radar. Growing up, all I ever wanted was a traditional family. And now at 42 years old, I finally feel like I've found it. They say there's the family that you're born into and the family you choose. This is the family I choose.
I'm not sure how to start this, but I remember when you were born. I was half a continent away, training and hoping to provide you a better life. We were children trying to make adult decisions. Anything you've ever heard of me is based on a young man who wasn't provided much guidance in life. It affected me heavy when that understanding of what I just did became a reality. In that moment, I was in a very dark place. But deep inside, there was one thing keeping me going. You being given up for adoption was the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with. I watched as friends and family raised their own children, while I was left to wonder what had become of you. Everything I am today is simply because you exist. Since I don't have a traditional family, it has enabled me to create this new family where I help others. So if one day we do meet, you'll be proud of me. If one sweet day we meet. Love, Dad.